Warning. Panic attacks, mentions of marital rape, graphic descriptions of domestic abuse, self-depreciating thoughts. Disclaimer. None of the characters in the video are mine. Onto the video.
Atsumu loves SakuAtsu. That's a truth obvious to everyone. It's also the phrase playing in SakuAtsu's head when he didn't receive Atsumu's text one Tuesday morning. It's what was playing in his head the next day when he still didn't receive one. It's still what was playing in his head the next day when again he didn't receive one. And the next. And the next. It was what was playing in his head as he walked to the party's venue, as he walked towards Atsumu, as he listened to Atsumu talk with his former captain while he was ignored. And it's what was playing in his head now as he listens to Atsumu break up with him, as he feels his heart break, and as he watches the love of his life slip from his fingers and as his world crumbles down. I can't take this anymore. No, Atsu, please. Don't leave me. You love me, right? Right, Atsu? Please. You love me. You love me. You love me, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't love you anymore because I do. God, I love you so fucking much. And I don't think I could ever love someone else after this. And that's the problem. How? Why? How exactly is that a problem? I love you. You love me. That's good, right? Do you even love me? SakuAtsu trembled. Of course he does. He wanted to shout it from the rooftops. To declare it to everybody he meets. Of course I do. I love you, Atsu. I love you so much, please. Never mind. Don't answer that. I'm not yet ready to hear the answer. No. Atsumu, I love you. I love you, please. SakuAtsu can't breathe. He wanted to answer. Wanted to tell Atsumu that yes he does. He loves him too. That he never thought he could feel like this. To love someone so much that it scared him. He wanted to apologize. To beg for forgiveness and another chance. To stop him from walking out. He wanted nothing more than to hug Atsumu so tight he would never again doubt his feelings for him. But SakuAtsu could do nothing but stand rooted to the spot, unable to do anything as he watched and listened as his world crumbled. And I don't. Goddammit. I don't want to doubt myself anymore. I don't want to keep second guessing myself. I don't want to hesitate when I hug you or even just hold your hand. You don't have to. You don't have to hesitate. You can hold my hand. You can hug me. You can kiss me. You can do everything you want with me, Atsu. Just please don't leave me. Please. I don't want to be scared to say I love you. I don't want to regret telling you something every time you acted like you couldn't care less. I care. I care for you, Atsu. I care so much. I'm sorry if I can't show you that. I'm sorry, Atsu. I'm sorry. Anyway, I think we should break up. It's for the best. It's not. It's not for the best. Atsu, baby, please. We can fix this. Let me fix this, please. Goodbye, SakuAtsu. No. Atsu, please, no. It's Omi. I'm not. My name's not SakuAtsu. It's Omi. Please, Atsu. Please. Please. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't leave me. I'm sorry. Atsumu turned around and walked away, and SakuAtsu wanted nothing more than to kneel down and beg for forgiveness. To pull him closer to him and stop him from leaving. To embrace Atsumu so tightly that they'd stick together. He wanted to do something. Anything. But like always, he stood there with his tongue heavy in his mouth and unable to say what he truly feels. The room was so silent that you would hear a pin drop, but the tension in the room might just keep it floating in the air. Still, SakuAtsu didn't notice, for his ears were ringing and his head full of fog. SakuAtsu didn't know how long he stood there, still staring at the spot that Atsumu stood in. But when he gathered some semblance of wit, he bolted straight home. He ran, and ran, and ran. He didn't stop because if he did, he might just break. SakuAtsu stormed straight to his living room without even removing his shoes. He twisted, eyes roving over everything he owns for a trace of Atsumu. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He clutched his hair to ground himself in reality as he choked on his tears. No trace of Atsumu anywhere. No hint that Atsumu was ever there, that they were dating. He started rummaging through his stuff. Couches, tables, chairs were overturned. Books, pillows, were thrown carelessly. He went to the kitchen and opened all drawers, throwing spoons, forks, plates, cups, knives, condiments, everything he can get his hands on, and nothing. He rummaged through his fridge and still nothing. He doesn't have Atsumu's favorite food or Atsumu's anything. What is Atsumu's favorite food? It's fatty tuna, right? Right. Tears fell freely down his face. Breathing was suddenly so hard and there's something stuck in his throat. But he didn't even notice. Too busy searching for a sign that Atsumu was once his. He wanted to scream, vomit, anything to remove that pit in his stomach, but he can't break down. Atsumu's no longer here to help him. He went to the guest room before that thought even sank in. He can't allow it to sink in. He can't. The guest room was empty, except for a bed and a nightstand. There was nothing there. Did Atsumu sleep here whenever he comes? Did he ever come over? He left the room and went to the bathroom. He checked all cabinets, all the things in his sink, and nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's no trace of Atsumu's toothbrush or his preferred toothpaste. No shampoo or soap that belonged to Atsumu. But that can't be. Was his boyfriend right? He should have had things here, right? Where are they? If they're not here, then what does he use when he spends overnight here? He couldn't have used my toothbrush since I wouldn't allow it. Same with the soap. And he prefers different shampoo and toothpaste, so where are they? Why doesn't he have things here? I would have allowed it. Even if he was messy. He was messy, right? SakuAtsu knows Atsumu was messy. Osamu always complained about it. But his memory provided him of Atsumu being very clean and organized. Did he do that for me? Then where are his things? I would have allowed it even if he was messy, but he isn't, so I would have allowed it more. I would have allowed it. Right? Of course I would have. What kind of boyfriend would I be if my partner can't even leave a few of his things in my house, especially since we've been dating for almost a year now? But we're over. He broke up with me. If kind, patient and beautiful Atsumu broke up with me, then what did I do? He loved me. No. He still loves me. He still loves me. He still loves me. Of course he does. Atsumu loves me. He loves me still. Right? So then why did he leave? Was I a really bad boyfriend that I managed to drive Atsumu away? SakuAtsu choked out a sob, but he didn't allow himself to break down. Not yet. He still has one more room to check. Unlike before, SakuAtsu doesn't storm through his room. He walked there hesitantly, afraid of what he would find, or lack thereof. He stood just outside the door and analyzed his room, looking for something that might stand out, that doesn't blend in with the immaculate and unbelievably clean room. Something that screams Atsumu. When he found none, he grew frantic. Once again, he rummaged through his things. He overturned his bed when he smelled only fabric softener and nothing else. He overturned his desk when he couldn't find something of Atsumu's, not even a single pen. He threw all of his clothes on the floor when he couldn't find even a handkerchief. He looked around his now messy room to double check, and still nothing. Tears run heavy down his face. Snot was fully blocking his nostrils, making it even harder to breathe. His hands started tugging at his hair, so frustrated and hurt he couldn't do anything else. All he knows is pain, guilt, shame, regret, despair, and most of all, empty. Atsumu's no longer here with him. His smiles, laughs, his annoying voice that's so fucking endearing, his ugly piss-colored hair that makes his life seem brighter, his firm yet hesitant touches that he's always loved but can't express it. That god-awful cutesy nickname that's so embarrassing yet fills his heart with love. He'll never see it again, because even if he will see his smiles and laughs again, it won't be the same, because he'll no longer be the reason. It will no longer be for him. His breathing became ragged. His heart beat so fast and hard it hurt. Spots appeared in his vision. He was close to a full-blown heart attack when he caught sight of something. A box buried so deeply in his closet he almost didn't see it. His breath hitched. His panic kept at bay to make way for confusion. What's that box? What's that doing there? He walked towards it, cautious, scared, hesitantly. He opened it. Inside was his first high school jacket, the eye-searing highlighter jacket that no longer fit him. His eyes squint in confusion. Why is it here? Then he realized that he haven't seen it for a long time now. The last time he saw it was when Atsumu returned to him with a sheepish grin after stealing it. Atsumu used this jacket. Unconsciously, he smelled it. And there he smelled Atsumu's fabric softener, his shampoo, soap, and a little bit of his perfume that clung to the jacket even after all this time. SakuAtsu finally broke down, overwhelmed by pain, despair, regret, shame, guilt. He collapsed on the floor, his legs no longer able to hold him up. He held the jacket close to his face so he could still smell it. Sobs was shaking his entire body and he could no longer breathe, but he couldn't stop crying either. It hurt so much. So fucking much, and he could know nothing but clutch his chest to try and stop the pain, but to no avail. Can't do anything but muffle his screams and cries with the jacket. Can't do anything to stop the pain because this is his fault. He drove Atsumu away. What kind of boyfriend was he that there was no trace of Atsumu inside his house? That there was almost no trace of their months-long relationship? The only hint that Atsumu was ever here was a jacket that wasn't even his in the first place. And for that, SakuAtsu can't do anything but cry. The guys, Tops and Komori, stared in shock as they entered SakuAtsu's house. There's mess everywhere. The couch and table were upturned. Books were scattered everywhere. Some pages ripped out. The TV lay broken on the floor. A glimpse to the open door shows that the kitchen is in the same state. There was even a knife embedded in the kitchen door. They went to SakuAtsu's room knowing that's where he likely is. As they passed by the guest room and the bathroom, they saw that they weren't spared from the destruction. They saw SakuAtsu weeping on the floor of his room clutching his jacket. Shit, SakuAtsu. Komori went to him and tried to get him off the floor. Come on. There's glass on the floor. You might get hurt. But SakuAtsu didn't respond. Didn't even notice they were there. The others just watched pitifully. There's really nothing they could do. They know how much SakuAtsu hates being touched. Pathetic. That got a reaction from SakuAtsu. If Osamu's here, then Atsumu might be too. He looked up to see Osamu standing in the doorway glaring at him while the others tried to hold him back. You're pathetic. Osamu sneered. Oh no. He shouted at the others, then fixed his glare on SakuAtsu, who's still kneeling on the floor, clutching the jacket like a lifeline. I hate you. I hated you the day my brother introduced you to us, and you can't even show a tiny bit of decency to act like a good boyfriend. You wouldn't even let him touch your hand. You're a germaphobe, I get it. But why the fuck would you be in a relationship with someone you can't tolerate? I was there when you began dating. Do you know what that means? It means I was there every time you hurt him. And believe me, you hurt him more than you made him happy. For every smile you gave him, you gave thrice the pain. I was there to notice every change he made on himself for you. I was there to see that those changes weren't reciprocated, appreciated, or even acknowledged. I was there when my brother started doubting himself because of you. I was there every time he swallowed down the pain you caused him and covered it with a smile. Osamu, that's enough. He knows that, okay? No, he doesn't. Osamu spat. Because if he does, he would be owning up to his mistakes and actually do something about them. Yet he can't even apologize. His lip curled in disgust. Instead, he's right here throwing a temper tantrum because the consequences of his actions finally bit him on the ass. You're here crying, throwing a pity party as if you have any right to. You don't. Newsflash, asshole. You did this to yourself. It was my brother that you hurt, not the other way around. Everyone was silent. They don't know what to say. They wanted to stop Osamu because they feel bad for SakuAtsu, but at the same time they agree with him. Also, they couldn't really stop Osamu even if they tried to. You know what the funny thing is? I came here to see if there was anything worth salvaging. I came here hoping to see I was wrong about you. That maybe, just maybe, you were the person my brother saw you as. But this is just pathetic. SakuAtsu still kneeled there, accepting everything, because he knew it was the truth. There was nothing in Osamu's statement that was a lie. You don't deserve Atsumu. I know. I actually don't know whether to thank you or punch you for proving me right. Punch me. Beat me up. I don't care. I deserve everything I'm getting. Osamu looked down at the still silent SakuAtsu and sneered at him. Stay away from Atsumu. With that, Osamu left. All was silent. They don't really know what to do. SakuAtsu, don't. SakuAtsu swallowed. Osamu's just mad. He didn't me, but he did. He meant all of those things he said, and I agree with him. Saki's right. I'm an asshole and I don't deserve Atsumu. Komori stopped himself from arguing. He's always there for me, you know. Every time I need him, he's always there. No matter what time it is or where he is or what he's doing. He's always there for me even if I was never there for him. SakuAtsu said, tears running down his face. You know, I once messaged him at 3 in the morning even though according to his messages, he was exhausted and that he had a killer headache. He was probably already sleeping then, and I messaged him because I saw a cockroach outside my window. And he replied, you know. Not even 5 minutes passed and he replied. He wasn't even fully awake. I know because his reply was gibberish, but he still replied. He talked with me for more than an hour even when he was half awake and exhausted. He licked his lips as suddenly his entire mouth was dry. Then I fell asleep on him. I was the one who needed him and I slept without even saying goodnight or thanking him. I found out in the morning that he had a fever. Osamu told me because Atsumu was asking for me. And I told him no. He was sick and I was scared. I didn't check on him. Not even just to send a text asking how he was. So and then there was this one time I messaged him again. I don't remember exactly what I messaged him about. All I know was that it was school time but we had a free period. He replied again. Instantly. And after I got what I wanted, I stopped replying even when he was still texting me. That day Osamu texted me again. He told me not to message Atsumu during class because he said, and I quote, that Dumbus will drop everything for you. Apparently they were having a test and when Atsumu saw my text, he immediately replied. So he got in trouble. His phone got confiscated and he was sent to the principal's office. His teacher also failed his test. Everybody just stood there, listening as SakuAtsu regrets. Then I remember when we first started dating. He came to my game even when he also had a match hours after that and it takes 3 hours to travel from Hyogo to Tokyo by train. And I didn't even meet him. After the game, I went straight to the shower then went home. I knew he was there. I saw him but I was tired so I didn't go meet him. Those are just 3 things from the countless thoughtful and loving things he did for me and I hurt him. Komori. I hurt Atsumu. SakuAtsu's voice broke and Komori bit his lip to stop himself from saying something. I made the most beautiful, most kind, most thoughtful, most patient, and most loving person I know go through so much pain because I'm a selfish asshole. Komori wanted to argue. What SakuAtsu did was wrong, yes, but he still can't take watching and not do something as his cousin. His best friend breaks down in front of him. I made him doubt himself. Made him think he was anything but perfect. I made him feel unloved, that he wasn't enough. I did all that to him, and I could never forgive myself. So yeah, I agree. I don't deserve Atsumu. He's better off without me. But like I said, I'm a selfish asshole. He might deserve better than me but that won't stop me. He's my Achu. He's kind and patient and thoughtful and so fucking beautiful and I love him. I love him so fucking much and I will not let him go. I can't. SakuAtsu sobbed. I don't think I could live without him anymore. Nobody knows how to react to SakuAtsu's statement. They don't know how to feel. They've all seen his and Atsumu's relationship and there were times they felt that it was wrong and they wanted to interfere but it wasn't their place. Maybe that made them a bad friend. They weren't sure. What they know though, is that SakuAtsu's statement was the truth. Truth was evident with every word he spoke. He truly does love Atsumu. But why did you do what you did? If you truly loved him, then why treat him like that? A beat. At first, it was because I was afraid. Atsumu's so bright and beautiful and popular and I'm just the germophobic jerk who's good at volleyball. Komori sighed. He really needs to do something about SakuAtsu's confidence. Doesn't he realize that not only is Atsumu not made of sunshine and rainbows but that SakuAtsu himself is also popular? When I confessed to him, it was with the thought that he'll reject me. That the only time I would ever see him again is on the opposite side of the court. And that I could make use of the rejection as a motivation to win. Then he said he liked me too and I was skeptical. I didn't want to pursue him, you know. Didn't want to give myself hope. But I couldn't help myself. If I could be with him for even a moment, then that's fine with me. It will hurt anyway but at least I'd know how it feels like to be with him. But I kept myself away. Closed off. I knew he would leave me one day. No reason to make things even harder than it was. It's contradictory, I know. Then as months passed by, I realized that he truly did love me. How could I not? Atsumu loves me. I know that. And I loved it. I loved how he loves me. And I didn't want to lose it. I kept myself away because I didn't want him to know just how flawed I was. How much he could do better. I mean, he's Atsumu. He's loved by a lot of people and I can't blame them. But I'm just me. He deserves so much more than I could give him and I didn't want him to know that. I can't lose him. I can't. So I needed him to keep on seeing whatever it is that he saw in me to love me so much. Because if he saw exactly what I am, who I really am, he'll leave. I tried so hard to keep myself away from him when there's nothing more that I want in the world to hold him close to me. It wasn't that I was disgusted by him or that I can't tolerate his presence. I was just afraid I couldn't control myself. I've never felt like this before. I've never craved someone so much and it scares me. Most of the time I'm with him is spent fantasizing about him and physically restraining myself from proposing then and there. I kept myself away because I was afraid my control would just snap one day and I'd do something I would regret. And I did. All I snapped to SakuAtsu. They were just looking at the floor before since they couldn't take seeing him so weak, but what did he mean by that? We've had sex once. I snapped. I thought he was feeling good. Every time I remember those couple of hours, all I see is his face's ecstasy. But then I remember the morning after. All the bruises, the bite marks, everything. He couldn't walk for a week for fuck's sake. He said it felt good but I knew he was hurting. And it scared me. It scared me so damn much because I didn't want to lose myself like that. SakuAtsu ran a trembling hand through his hair. I didn't want to hurt him because I couldn't control myself. Everybody didn't know whether to cringe or facepalm because 1. Too much information, 2. OMG Atsumu is a masochist and likes it rough. And 3. OMFG SakuAtsu. Everybody except Komori of course. Because he understands. The reason he hang out with SakuAtsu isn't just because his family didn't have enough time for him. He could vaguely remember his aunt and the bruises that littered her body. Could vaguely remember hearing screams when he goes to SakuAtsu's house. Could vaguely remember his aunt puking on the toilet as she cried. What he did remember was the police cars coming to take his aunt's husband away and his confusion at that time. He didn't know what it meant back then, but as he grew older and watched as SakuAtsu washed himself at least 7 times a day to remove traces of my father, he can't help but both be angry and relieved. Angry because if he just understood then, maybe he would have been able to do something. And relieved because he didn't know if he would have been able to stomach those incidents as a kid. It definitely would have traumatized him. Just like it did for SakuAtsu. So he understands. He understands SakuAtsu's fear of hurting Atsumu because he was chasing his own pleasure. And he also knows what the others are thinking now and he wants to shout at them. To explain, but it's not his story to tell. But I guess it's useless since even when I kept myself away, he still left. I guess I underestimated how fucking messed up I am. Komori sighed. SakuAtsu, look at me. SakuAtsu didn't respond, so Komori grabbed SakuAtsu's face with his hands and turned it to face him. Atsumu didn't leave you because you're germophobic or whatever flaws you think you may have. He left because you were almost never for him. He knows you're a germaphobe. He knows you're a blunt asshole. He knows a lot of your flaws and he doesn't care. He loves you, SakuAtsu. He loves you regardless of the flaws you may have. In fact, he thinks everything you do is fucking adorable. He wanted everything you can offer. It didn't matter if it was good, bad, or just not enough. He wanted everything because he wanted you. And he left, SakuAtsu. He left because you didn't give him anything. Not even yourself. And he was left to wonder if you were ever his in the first place. He left not because he couldn't handle you but because there was nothing to handle. That, SakuAtsu, is why Atsumu left. What? But that's not. SakuAtsu spluttered, then went silent, staring into nothing as realization hit him. Komori sighed, then stood up. That's going to take a while. He turned to face their audience who were crowding the doorway awkwardly. Guys, I think it's better for all of you to leave for now. SakuAtsu is overwhelmed enough as it is. I don't think we need him to process that there are more than 5 people in his apartment. They looked to see SakuAtsu still gaping at nothing. But what about the mess? It's fine. Komori waved them off. SakuAtsu loves cleaning so he can use these. Komori gestured to the entire room, to de-stress and hopefully gather his thoughts. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Komori and SakuAtsu were cleaning up. SakuAtsu was doing silently and slowly, like his mind is elsewhere and his body's cleaning on autopilot. Komori was looking at his cousin worriedly. Komori couldn't stand the heavy, deafening silence, so he spoke. You know you're not your father, right? SakuAtsu flinched, pulled to reality by the sudden noise. What? You're not your father, and you will never be. You don't have to worry about hurting Atsumu physically. But look, Atsumu loved it, okay? What? That time you had sex. Atsumu loved it. And how would you know? I hurt him, Komori. He had bruises. Just like how his mother had bruises. SakuAtsu could clearly remember how his mother was always careful with her actions because every movement hurt. He clearly remembers her limping out of the bedroom she shared with his pig of a father. He clearly remembers a deep voice grunting in pleasure accompanied by a feminine one moaning in what was definitely not pleasure. He clearly remembers finding traces of blood and other fluids splattered on the couch, dining table, the bathroom, and sometimes even the floor and the walls. His father never touched him, but that's probably because his mother was always so quick to throw herself under the bus. But he knew that with every mistake he made, no matter how trivial, his mother was punished. He could remember the fatherly smiles he received but can't help but see it as too wide, too big, just too much to be real or natural. SakuAtsu could no longer remember a time when his father was anything but a twisted monster. All he remembers were gentle yet threatening touches, and attempts of father and son bonding that made his stomach twist in disgust and fear. He remembers the smell of beer and cigarettes, how it stuck to his skin and clothes whenever his father got close to him. He remembers how even after he was gone, the smell still stuck. So he moved out. As soon as he reached high school, he moved out, but even then, he still felt disgusting. He remembers how, no matter how hard he cleaned, no matter how many times he cleaned, the smell was still there, looming over him like his father once was. And that's normal for some couples. Komori replied, unaware of what was going on inside SakuAtsu's mind. How is having bros normal? Komori sighed and lifted his shirt. There on his hips are handprints. What the fuck? Who's hurting you? Is it that stupid snake? Chill dude. He's not hurting me. Like I said, it's normal since some people find it pleasurable to have pain mixed in. But my mo is a different case. The difference is consent. I like it. Atsumu probably does too. Your mother didn't. How would I know if Atsumu likes it or not? Talk to him. I can't. Not anymore. He dumped me, remember? And you're gonna just leave it at that? You won't even fight for him? Or even just apologize? What am I supposed to do? He doesn't love me anymore. OMG SakuAtsu. Do you really think that Atsumu would just be able to move on immediately? He loves you. Well, he shouldn't. He deserves better. So that's it? You're just going to give up? Atsumu's been fighting for your relationship since the beginning and you're just going to give up? Then what am I supposed to do? That's up to you. But you should at least try to get him back. Get him back? Yes. Yes, that's what I have to do. I need to get him back. SakuAtsu suddenly sprinted to the door. SakuAtsu, what the fuck? Where are you going? I'm going to Atsumu. I need to apologize. I need to tell him I love him. I need to take him back. I can't lose him. I can't lose him. I can't. I get it, SakuAtsu. I understand, but you can't do it. Not now. Why not? I can't lose him, Komori. And we just broke up. Maybe he loves me still. I can't. He can't. I don't want to lose him, Komori. I can't lose his love for me. I need him. I love him. Look, SakuAtsu, I get it, but it's late already. And you're right. He does love you. Don't you think this is hard for him too? He broke up with you even when he loves you. Give him a bit of time to calm down, to gather his thoughts. But what if he moves on? Komori, what if I take too long and he won't love me anymore? Like I said, he loves you. Do you honestly believe he'll be able to move on so fast? Maybe. I don't know. Atsumu has a lot of people who loves him. People who read better than me. It's only a matter of time before he realize. You're right. Atsumu has a lot of fans, but he already had them before you even knew each other. And he still chose you. But what if? No what ifs. He loves you, SakuAtsu. And I'm not asking you to wait a year. Just a little time. A week maybe. Just allow him to cool off. Yeah. Okay. Good. Komori sighed again. He's been doing that a lot this past few hours. Let's continue cleaning up, then I can help you plan your apology. Oh, how about a grand gesture? Like Iwaizumi did. What? No. Komori huffed and glared at his stubborn cousin. SakuAtsu, this is not the time for your pride to get in the way. You do know what's at risk here, right? Of course I do. And I'm saying no, not because of my pride or anything like that. Then why? I just don't want to make it look like I'm buying his forgiveness. Komori was stunned. I just want to set up a routine. I want to do something for him that I can continue doing for the rest of our lives, you know? I don't want it to seem like a one-time thing that I only did because I fucked up. Atsumu deserves everything I can give and more. So yeah, I want to set up a routine. Something simple and sweet but can show him that I love him not only when I fuck up. I want to show him I love him because I still have a hard time saying it and well, action speaks louder than words and all that. Komori couldn't contain his glee. Holy fuck. Who knew SakuAtsu can actually be romantic? But he also wanted to smack him for showing this side only when he lost his boyfriend. Okay, we can do that, but for now how about a grand gesture? You can make a grand gesture as an opening to apologize, then small sweet ones to stay consistent and show that your apology and love for him is genuine? Yeah, I can do that. Okay, good. So what's the plan? SakuAtsu stopped in his tracks, thinking. I think I have an idea. It's not grand but I think he'll appreciate it more. Oh. As SakuAtsu explained his plan, Komori smiled. SakuAtsu's right. It's not grand as in it won't be one big explosion, but it's perfect. Let's just hope it's enough.
I want to apologize in advance since the next updates would probably take a long time. I haven't figured out how much or how long I have to make SakuAtsu suffer, so I haven't written the script yet. Please be patient. Please